Well, hey there. So, Harvia. This podcast is recorded at the Harvia World Headquarters, Central Finland. Had a great visit. It was really nice to visit the World Headquarters. I mean, this is a large building. Harvia is the world's leader in sauna stoves and the space of sauna, spa, steam. You've probably heard of them. I had the good fortune of being welcomed by Sami, Linna, the marketing director at Harvia. we sat down. I kind of reminds me of it's a very corporate setup. You come in the front door and you sign in immediately, and they called for Sammy, and he brought me over to the showroom, really large space with hundreds of different saunas on display, including sauna buildings. Sat down, had some tea and biscuits, and just visited informally about the world of sauna and his background as a marketing director. And then we were joined by Kimmo, Riuttanen, product manager, and that's where I ran out and grabbed my recorder. I wasn't intending to do a podcast from the Harvia World Headquarters, but it sort of came together, and this is a short episode, and we talk a lot about wood species for sauna. We talk about red cedar, and the introduction of red cedar in the family of Harvia, with the addition of purchasing Almost Heaven saunas in North America. Almost Heaven has done a great job of selling barrel saunas, mainly through Costco, direct to consumer through Costco. So, a retail widget, and makes a lot of sense because it's easy to ship these units on a pallet. With the cedar wood and the Harvia stove, of course. So vertically integrated. There is a Almost Heaven barrel sauna joining the fleet at the Harvia World Headquarter showroom. So you'll hear about the wood species in Finland, which is interesting to me. The parallel with elder and cedar. We talk about spruce and aspen. The classical species for a sauna and this new heat-treated element that is coming into play over in Finland. The knots on the wall, benches, dense woods. So it's just a quick little episode for you. A little bit of more about Harvia. I find it quite interesting. Harvia is now a publicly traded company. They went public in 2018. They have a bulk of their sales, 58% of which in 2018, their revenue is in sauna heaters. And about 37% of their sales are in Finland. That's as a percent of revenue, 2.31 million euros, or 23 million euros in sales. That's, like 25 million in US, or in dollars, just in Finland alone. Pretty large company here. We're talking about revenues just in sauna heaters, 36 million a year in heaters, and then they do sauna rooms, control units, steam generators, spare parts services, and other. So there you go. There's some small figures for you. I'm looking at their annual report being publicly held. So it's nice to see sauna in a very formally presented way through Harvia. Global, a lot of their production is going on in China. Finland, by far their number one market. Their number one market position there. Number two in Europe. Number two in Russia. Number 2 to 3 in the United States as a market position. And so being publicly held, you know what their mission is. So the rising sauna tide lifts a lot of boats. So cool to visit with these two gentlemen, Kimmo and Sami, Harvia. This show is brought to you by Nice Mug. Nice Mug is the only mug made entirely out of ice. For more information, go to nicemug.com and enter the coupon code SAUNA for 10% off your entire purchase. Hey everybody, it's Glenn at Sauna Times, and we're here at Harvia World Headquarters in the Lake Country, central part of Finland. And the name of this town?
This is Muurame. Hi, Glenn.
Hi. And we're here with Kimmo. Kimmo, and you can pronounce your last name.
Riuttanen.
You can pronounce it better than me. And marketing manager?
Marketing director, Sami, Linna. Nice to meet you, Glenn.
You just got promoted. You're the director now.
That was fast.
It was great work. So we're hanging out here at the world headquarters in the showroom, and we're talking about wood species. It's a subject that comes up quite a bit, and it's so interesting that in North America, this wood that we're looking at here.
That's red cedar.
Yeah, and what do you think of red cedar, Kimmo? Give it to me straight.
Red cedar is something that can be found in North America. It's not something that we can find from Europe, so probably it equals to alder here in Europe.
As a cousin or a close?
The structure, how it looks, the color, that's probably the thing if you compare these two. So in Europe we have the alder, you have the red cedar.
Yeah. What would it, if not to go too crazy with you about talking about cedar, but I must ask you this question because in the States we build our saunas with red cedar paneling. Most likely we go with clear cedar on the benches, most available, especially in the Northwest where cedar grows. Like your trees here, I mean, super tall and that. But if you brought like a few Finns off the street and showed that love sauna and showed them this wood, if you had to take a guess, what would they be thinking of this wood, this strange wood? First of all, they wouldn't know it.
For sure.
The smell would be extremely unique, right?
That's one of the things. The smell is something that they might recognize. They would say that, oh, it smells like a pencil. That's one of the things, what I've heard about it. Then they would refer to the color. And the color probably would make them say that this is alder with the strange smell.
Alder with strange smell.
Yeah.
Do you think if you had 10 Finns that love sauna, would they, if you had to guess, and I'm putting you on the spot, Kimmo, but would they like it or run away from it? What would you think?
Red cedar is dividing opinions.
Okay, got it.
Probably the smell is one of those things.
Yeah.
People either love it and they don't like it.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Nice.
And I would say most of the people would say that this is nice. Mm-hmm. For some people, it's a bit strange.
Yeah. Yeah, well explained. And very Finnish, by the way.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of interviews in my trip here. You guys, the Finns have a great way of answering questions without alienating or offending anybody.
Sure,
you guys have been, I think it's genetics, maybe.
Yeah, Finland is the place where the big guys meet each other.
Yeah.
Helsinki meetings,
Right.
We're world famous for that.
Good diplomacy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you, Kimmo, reason why I want to get you also to speak a little bit about wood species.
Sure.
Can you give us a rundown of the wood options for sauna based on what happens at Harvia?
Yeah, sure. We could start from the classic materials, which is the spruce. Probably most of the first saunas that were built out of spruce. It was easy to get, easy to work with, and light enough to be a good material for the sauna.
The wall as well as benches.
Yeah, the wall as well as the benches. Then the next step probably was that the aspen hopped in. Also very light softwood, but different color. It was more light, really easy to work with, less knots. Mm-hmm. So these kind of stuff came in with the aspen, and then step by step alder, even pine hopped in, especially on the wall panels. So these are probably the most classical wood you could have in your sauna.
And what are we looking at here?
That's the heat-treated pine.
Is that fairly new?
That's
The heat-
fairly new. So,
Yeah.
so the heat treatment is a process where we change the color of the wood. So in that sense, it's just shading the wood, but not changing the structure or density or any other matters of the wood. But we can get some darker shades to the sauna. This is a nice way of changing the color.
If I was a customer and I was looking to build a sauna and I purchased my, let's call it a wood heater, because that's what many of the listeners to Sauna Talk know is the wood-fired stove. So they have their stove, and now they're in a position to choose their material for the walls. What would you choose, Kimmo, as a species for the walls of a new sauna build, and why? Your choice.
Yeah, this is a question of taste, and probably if I would do that, I would go with the classic materials. Some spruce, maybe some alder, with some knots there, because I love the livelihood of these trees, so that it doesn't look so,
Swedish?
plastic. Let's put it plastic, so that
Wow, that's great.
You can really see that this is wood. It's
Yeah.
been grown somewhere. There's a history on the wood, so it gives you a bit more.
You and I are alike in this way. I love the character of the knots, and especially on a wall, because you're not leaning on
No.
them. And would you put a backing, like what would be the wood species for where you lean against the wall behind the
backrest.
bench? Yeah, the backrest.
The
area.
backrest. So probably I would go with the alder, maybe aspen, because it's nice looking and gives you a little contrast with the wood on the wall with the knots, and then you have more clear wood as a backrest, so you have a nice contrast there.
So far, do you agree, Sammy?
Absolutely, that's a good.
So
summary.
he's batting 1,000. Well, this is an American expression for baseball. If you bat 1,000, means that you don't. So we're doing good. You're okay. The benches.
Yeah. The benches, I would probably go nowadays with the massive spruce. We call it solida, because it's sturdy, it's robust.
Yeah.
It looks really real stuff.
Yes. Yes.
As it should, and it stays in its shape. It doesn't change. You can clean it easily, and you feel like that this is something that will hold.
And this clear.
From design point of view, these sturdy benches, they look very very simplistic and modern, and in that way.
Agreed. Yep.
They're
So
traditional but very modern. looking.
yeah. So in the States, I like to use clear cedar, which would be the analogy to that. That it's a thicker mass, like we call them 2x4s.
Yeah.
Which is inches. What do you call it here?
2x4.
Oh, I see.
2x4.
Okay.
In
So
that matter, we use American terms.
yeah. So the stuff you buy in a bottle or a can, and you like to have it between sauna rounds. What do you call that here?
A can.
What is inside? It's kind of yellowish and it has bubbles.
So we're talking about the beer.
Oh,
probably.
okay. So 2x4s and beers. See, we have a lot in common.
Not in common.
Yeah. So I like where you're going, Kimmo, with the sauna bench with the 2x4. A little bit more of a denser structure.
Sure.
But when you're using softwood, and you're saying you want to use which material for bench specifically?
Spruce.
Yeah.
Massive spruce.
Massive spruce, meaning like tall, so
Yeah.
you're getting a clear run.
Yeah, there's some knots as well. It doesn't matter if we have them there, because they are healthy and they bring the character.
But
to
on the
wood.
benches, it's okay?
Absolutely, it's okay.
Yeah. You don't burn your ass on
No,
that?
no, you don't.
Huh. Okay, because we, if you were to use, we're looking at a barrel sauna here with cedar right now. It's a knotty cedar, and if you were to use this type of cedar on a sauna bench, those knots would definitely be uncomfortable. So it's expensive, but getting clear 2x4 is worth the price when we build our saunas in the United States.
Yeah, but the reason for this is that the density of the red cedar is a bit higher than the spruce, which explains that once you have the knot, the density is higher and it feels hotter.
Very interesting. So there is a little subtle difference of spruce to cedar from that regard. You've inspired me. Popple is very popular as a well, it's a wrong word. It's prolific in Minnesota. Our cabin is made out of poplar, and I'm looking at poplar. It reminds me of my cabin, and you've inspired me. I'm looking forward to making some backrests, at least out of poplar, and potentially maybe other things. It's tough to get 2x4 out of poplar. They I don't know about here in Finland, but they are not as robust or big of a tree. Where cedars, you have a lot of density and you can get the old growth, the tall growing. But it's going to be fun to mess around with poplar. I never thought to use it with saunas, but I recommend it to listeners here. Consider popple. Spruce, not as prevalent in North America. We're mainly cedar driven. Anything else, Kimmo, about wood species as it relates to sauna?
Well, hemlock. You have the hemlock in North America. That's probably fairly close to our European aspen, fairly light, soft wood. So that's probably something that people are using quite a lot in the States.
Very cool. Very cool. Listen, I want to thank you guys for inviting me in. We're in the central part of Finland, as I mentioned, Harvia World Headquarters. Sami, any other thought for listeners to Sauna Talk? I appreciate visiting with you this morning. Thanks for accommodating. Any other thoughts for people in the United States listening, interested in sauna and developing their own wellness practice by including sauna? Anything coming to mind?
Thank you, Glenn, first of all, for visiting us. Definitely keep in mind that the Finnish sauna is all about relaxation and the health benefits of it. For us, it's also cleansing, so it's really in the culture of the Finns. And it's very important that you have a stove or heater with stones, and you throw the water on the stones, that you get the steam and you get the moisture into the room, and you do it how you feel good yourself.
There's a lot of freedom to sauna, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Feels like it's so that you feel comfortable there. You stay as long in the heat you choose, as long as you want, and you feel good. Then you go out and you cool down a bit, and then you go back, and you do that a couple of times.
Right on. So very, very well said. I think people are looking for more rules as it relates to sauna, and the fewer the rules, I think the better the sauna experience. Would you agree?
You need to enjoy the sauna the way you like it the most.
Yeah, well said. Well, thanks, guys. Been a pleasure. Appreciate the information, Kimmo, about wood species here in Finland and comparing it to the United States. Any other final words for you, Kimmo, for listeners?
Just keep enjoying the sauna and spread the good word.